What is up, YouTube? My name is Trinity and welcome to my channel, or welcome back if you've been here before. So it has been about 2 weeks since I uploaded my last video. That is just because the next true crime case that I'm currently working on is taking a bit longer than expected. It is going to be the illicit attorney case, and there is a lot of information to it, so it's taking a bit longer than I hoped for. I have all the information and I'm just trying to put it together into a script, but today's video is going to be back to the paranormal stuff. So this was actually a requested video from one of you guys who commented on, I believe, the Men in Black video, so thank you so much for the suggestion. And if you guys have any other suggestions, please leave them in the comments, because like this one, it might be something that I already have on my list. It might bump it up to being uploaded sooner than I planned. We are going to be talking about the Sherman Ranch. It has another more popular name from Navajo legend. However, because I am not Navajo and because it is kind of a taboo subject to talk about, I'm not going to say the name of the creature or directly talk about it in this video. Now, if you want to go researching it, I really can't stop you, but it is a very taboo subject. So again, out of respect for the Navajo or Diné culture, I am not going to be talking about it. So the Sherman Ranch is a 512-acre property in Utah that is very well known for paranormal activity. The Ute people that resided there pre-colonization were apparently terrorized by the creature that the other more famous name is based on. Beyond the Ute people having their own experiences after colonization, people all around the area knew something wasn't quite right with the land. It was known for having strange, terrifying creatures around, as well as prolific UFO activity. The first written account of paranormal activity happening in the area came from 1776 from a French missionary who talked about fireballs that would fly through the sky overhead. People also regularly came forward with their own claims of UFO experiences, seeing extraterrestrials, and they even believed that somewhere on the land there was some sort of portal to another place or dimension that they would come through. Now, when the Sherman family moved onto the ranch in 1994, they claimed they were terrorized by a multitude of different creatures, as well as subject to many strange phenomena. And this started happening from the moment they moved onto the ranch. When they moved in, they noticed that the ranch house was covered in locks of all different kinds, heavy-duty ones. And in the back of the house, there were massive chains that they assumed were to hold guard dogs, but they didn't know what the guard dogs were for. On the very day they moved in, they had an abnormal experience that no one can really explain. Terry Sherman and his wife Gwen saw a massive wolf in the distance, which was already very abnormal because wolves hadn't been seen in the area for decades at that point. And this wolf didn't act wild or skittish. It came right up to them, very docile and friendly, and even let Terry pat it on the head. So because of its very friendly demeanor, Terry assumed that it was somebody's pet that had escaped. The Shermans were cattle ranchers, so they had hundreds and hundreds of cattle on their property, and because of this, he didn't want the wolf to feel too comfortable coming up to them like this and coming near the cattle. So he tried to shoo it away when, from one of the pens nearby, a calf stuck its head through the bars, curious as to what was going on. And the wolf went over to the calf and latched its jaws around its head and tried pulling it through the pen. Now, Terry ran over and started beating on the wolf, trying to get it to let go, but it didn't even seem fazed by this. Terry took the gun that was on his hip and shot the wolf twice. It let go of the calf, but it didn't yelp in pain. It didn't seem to be injured at all, and it just looked at Terry. Terry shot it 2 more times, and again, it didn't react as if it were in pain or anything. It just backed up a couple of steps. Finally, Terry grabbed a larger gun and shot it at very close range. The power of the gun was so great that it blew a chunk of flesh off of the wolf. Still, the wolf didn't yelp or really react like it was injured in any way, but it did run back into the forest where it came from. Terry wanted to keep his family safe, but he also wanted to take care of a predator that had already gone after his livestock. So he went and followed the wolf into the woods. When he passed the piece of flesh that had been blown off of the animal, he said it smelled rotten and rancid and musky, like it had been just sitting there and rotting, even though it had just come off of a living animal. He followed the prints into the woods for a while until suddenly in a clearing they just disappeared, like the wolf had vanished. Later, when researchers were talking to Gwen and Terry about what they had seen, they showed them several pictures of different animals and asked what the wolf had looked like. and oddly enough, they picked a picture of a dire wolf. As we've talked about in previous videos, dire wolves have been extinct for thousands of years, and they don't look like modern-day wolves. It leaves the question, what did they actually see that day? The wolf wasn't the only creature that apparently terrorized the Shermans on this farm. Far from it, in fact. They said they were visited by 7-foot-tall alien creatures, and they were terrorized by a creature that they called the Predator, named after the Predator movies because of its ability to camouflage so well. So they never saw the Predator head on, but a friend of the family who came to visit them apparently had a very close encounter with it. The friend was outside sitting on the ground, meditating with his eyes closed, and one of the Shermans was out there with them, and something tipped off the Sherman that the Predator was close by, and he tried to urge his friend to go. The friend, with his eyes still closed, felt the creature approach him, and then it let out a horrifying scream. So loud that it hurt his ears. And when he opened his eyes, I couldn't really find a description of what he saw, but it was still apparently camouflage, but he ran for his life. One of the other creatures that they claimed to see regularly on the farm, that they described as one of the least terrifying, was a Bigfoot-like creature, but apparently it wasn't just Bigfoot. Apparently, extraterrestrials that had visited the ranch before led them to this mysterious black box that was just left in the open. And this creature was somehow tethered to it in a way. And when it touched the box, it seemed to die. Now, what goes with aliens? UFOs. The Shermans claim that they saw several types of different UFOs that they had multiple descriptions for. They said there was one massive craft the size of 2 football fields put together that would fly overhead. And they saw one that they named the flying refrigerator because that is exactly what it looked like apparently. And then they saw the stereotypical flying saucers that apparently would appear and disappear through holes or portals in the sky that you could only see from certain angles. So it was like a 2-dimensional hole in the sky. And when they were able to look directly through, they saw a bright orange sky on the other side. Another strange phenomenon that happened on the ranch were floating lights. Apparently, these lights brought with them a feeling of fear and dread and just made the person near them feel hopeless and terrified. These lights could apparently move with intelligence and purpose and would purposely move around objects and move up to people. One night, one of these balls of light appeared and came close enough to the house that Terry's dogs noticed, and they went chasing after it into the woods. Terry tried his best to call them back, but no matter what, they would not come. And the next day, when he went looking for them, all he found left of them were steaming piles of charred flesh. His dogs weren't even the only animals to meet these horrific fates. Over the 2 years that the Shermans lived on the ranch, they lost 20% of their cattle herd. Many went missing, but others were mutilated, either drained completely of blood or their organs removed with surgical precision and left in neat little piles near them. Not something your average predator could do. The family sold the ranch in 1996. Not only for their own safety and peace of mind, but also hoping to financially recover from losing 1/5 of their herd, which was their livelihood. Despite the hundreds of previous years of paranormal activity being reported on this land, when the Shermans moved there, the activity skyrocketed for one reason or another. Now, I'm sure there are several more stories and cryptids and phenomenons that I could have covered in this video, but I wanted to talk about the ones that were the most interesting to me. So consider this a brief overview of the ranch, just because, again, going further into it, you kind of are forced to at least discuss a little bit of the creature that I do not want to discuss at all. So that made it a little bit challenging. So there are many more stories of different creatures and encounters and phenomena happening on this ranch, but I just wanted to talk to the highlights, at least the ones that I found the most interesting. There is a lot of information on this place, again, especially if you look it up by the other name that I will not be using. You will find a lot, and it is very interesting, but I wanted to keep this more of a shorter video so I can get back to hopefully working on the Alyssa Attorney video that I have been working on for the last week and a half. But thank you guys so much for watching this video. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already, and be sure to leave down in the comments below if you have any requests yourself, because I would be happy to look into anything new or cover something that is on my list to cover already. But thank you guys so much for watching this video. I really appreciate it, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.